If you're looking to rank better with local SEO, this video is for you. It's part of a whole series teaching you what you can do as a small business owner to rank better without paying the big fees to the SEO companies. You can get the same information from this book, Small Business Big Visibility, Local SEO Made Easy, or just watch the videos where we're going to teach you what you can do. Now, today we're talking about some of the basic requirements that every website needs to meet in order to rank well. Now, there's a few things that really matter, and there's others that don't matter as much. And some people that do SEO will go out and tell you all about these things that used to matter as if they still do, and they'll try and get you to pay for it. Don't be fooled by them. These are the things that do matter, what we're teaching in these videos. We also share the things you shouldn't worry about so that you know, so you're not taken advantage of by the scumbags out there. Now today, one of the first ones is your site secure? Now, when the internet first started, you could literally type in and you'd say, hey, I want to visit this website. Maybe it's yahoo.com, right? And you'd pull up and you'd open up your web browser, you'd put in a request, say, I'm sending a request to get the Yahoo page. It goes out to the internet. The internet says, oh, if you want the Yahoo page, you have to go over here. The request go over there, and then Yahoo page sends it back, loads on your computer, and you view the page. The problem with that was anywhere along that route, anyone could listen in and be like, oh, Bob's visiting the Yahoo page. Interesting. It's kind of like the difference between sending a letter and sending a postcard in the mail. If you send a postcard, everybody knows what's on the postcard. They can see the front, they turn it over, they can see what you wrote on the back of the postcard. Not private at all. Anyone can see it without even trying. Now, if you put that postcard inside of an envelope, on the other hand, and you seal that envelope, it's way harder for somebody to view what you're trying to do. They know, oh, so-and-so made a request to here, but I don't understand any of the stuff inside of that letter because it's all sealed inside an envelope. That's what a few years ago, Google said everybody has to do. If you want to rank well with Google, put everything inside of a metaphorical envelope. Now, the way to do that is called an SSL certificate, Secure Socket Link, an SSL certificate. Now, if you're not tech savvy, all you have to know is when you visit a website, if it's secure, it'll say HTTPS : and then your website address. If it's not secure, it says HTTP. So if your website has the HTTPS, that piece is taken care of. If not, you may need to get someone a little bit technical for this one thing because they can go in, they can get the SSL certificate installed. Now, it used to be that you'd have to pay hundreds or hundreds of dollars every single year for an SSL certificate. But when Google and all the big players in the industry said that we want everyone to have an SSL certificate, they said, well, there's got to be a better way to do this so it's not so expensive for the little guy that doesn't have a ton of money. So what they did is they came up with some alternatives that make an SSL certificate either free or very close to free to use. So you can go out and get basically a free SSL certificate in today's world, but you have to have one. Now, that's just one piece of the site requirements. We cover a ton of other stuff in here as well. One of the other things I wanted to talk about is your website has to load reasonably fast. Now, this is an area where some people get so extreme, the pendulum swings from not knowing that they need to be fast to freaking out if it doesn't load just like that. And it doesn't. What matters is it loads reasonably fast. So what's reasonably fast means? It means it loads about as fast as your competitors. If you're loading about that same speed, you're probably going to be okay. If you load a little bit faster than them, that's going to be pretty okay. But here's the trick. You're not going to get massive rewards for loading that fast in today's world. Maybe someday we will, but that doesn't matter that much. It doesn't have to load instant 100%, but it does have to load reasonably fast. Humans have kind of this internal scale or timer where we're willing to wait a few seconds while it loads up. We're used to that. If your website's taking 3 times as long as everyone else, you're probably going to get punished for having a slow loading site. So that's the next critical piece. Make sure that it loads reasonably fast. And we, again, talk about that in the book. The next thing that you need to understand is looking good on different devices. In today's world, more searches happen on a mobile device than they do on a tablet or on a computer or on a TV. But searches happen on all those devices. Does your website look good on all of those? If not, you're probably not going to get as much traffic as you could. It doesn't have to be absolutely pixel perfect at every single potential size. I had one customer literally go a little bit crazy. He went in and he would stretch his screen out and he had a massive monitor. It was huge. He'd stretch it all the way out, make sure it was perfect, every single pixel all the way, and then he'd shrink it down smaller than the smallest cell phone. Be like, oh, is there any mistakes anywhere? Way too obsessive. It doesn't need to be that perfect, especially if you don't have a big budget. But you need to make sure it looks reasonably good on all those devices. Part of looking reasonably good means on their phone and operate your site. If your links and text are so small that they can't see it, and they have to like try and zoom in and it can't zoom in, it's not going to work. You're not going to rank well because you're not giving your potential customers a good experience on a mobile device. So make sure it looks reasonably good on a mobile device, on a tablet, on a computer, on a TV. If you're reasonably good on most sizes, you're going to be okay. Now, there's some technical stuff we also cover in the book, things called like the largest contentful paint. And that's getting a little bit technical. You can go in, Google has some tools that you can use to analyze these specific metrics. And I'm not going to dive deep into it, but you can learn about it right here in the book. That's one time. Total blocking time is another one that matters. Cumulative layout shift. This is the one I am going to go into a little bit. Have you ever been on a site and it shifts around as it loads? There was one website I used all the time, and we were recording videos and putting it on this website. And the link would be right here. And I'd go to click on the link, and then for about 6 months, right as the page is loading, and I never knew when it was going to happen, but the link would move and an upgrade button would pop up right where the link was. I was like, oh! So I would, half the time I'd get the link, and half the time I was clicking the upgrade button and it would do this whole pop-up where it's trying to upsell me to a higher plan. It's like, this is infuriating. Google gets it. That's why they measure this kind of stuff, to make sure you're not doing that, because it irritates your customers and they don't want your customers irritated. So again, that one's a little bit technical. You may not be comfortable with it, but if your website, the content bounces all around when it's loading, that's not a good thing. You need to make sure that it doesn't do that. You may need to bring in someone technical for that. If so, my team is happy to help, or find someone that you trust. If you're looking for more details, check out the book, Small Business, Big Visibility, Local SEO Made Easy, or go through the rest of the videos that we've created in this series so that you can become an expert and not have to be scammed by the SEO scam artists out there.